quarters.
Like two so that we're on to pass a couple of days to just break.
Yeah, just work.
Yeah, I like it. But yeah, we'll get you squared away.
Okay, thanks. Well.
So what else is new?
Just doing some work and when I can get it.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a combination of plumbing, carpentry, and electricity.
Got your hands full.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah. I wish I could say I was that handy. I'm definitely not.
Do you know where he's?
Does he bark at anything?
Oh, he barks at everything.
One of those.
The wind blows, he barks.
Well, he's a bird dog. So if vultures are flying over my house, he barks. And he thinks he owns the road, you know, Beaver Road below us.
Oh, yeah.
So, you
Oh. Well, that's his property.
know, yeah. Okay,
Give it another minute or two. Well, we still have 2 minutes too, so. Then we'll go ahead and get started.
I do wonder what was going on in Swickley
What's the matter?
yesterday.
Oh,
The police parked in front of the hotel down there and there were tons of people. So I don't know. Somebody mentioned they were filming something that too.
Yeah, do you see the water main break that was in Bed Haven today?
No,
Yep, I went to go pick the camera system up in Lee Township and they had everything down in one lane each way. Giant hole in the ground, right by the bridge if you're like going through Ben Haven towards Emsworth.
oh, I know that bridge, yeah.
And yeah, it was all filled in by the time I came out here for the meeting.
Well, that's not bad.
But yeah, it was quite a hole they dug, so not sure what the actual issue was, but it didn't look good.
I was here last night for Glenn Osborne's meeting, but we had it in the conference room, it was very nice.
Yeah, I think I've never had it over there. I was just giving it a year. Worked out well with the plugs that, you know,
Yeah.
every building's got its quirks and having plugs where you need them to have this projector actually worked out for this one, so. Especially the older ones, they're a little tougher.
Mhm.
This one wasn't too bad.
good. But you?
Good. I'm glad sometime now.
Oh, I love summer. I can't stand there anymore.
I know, I used to love winter because I lived either by the Georgian Bay or by the Pier in the town called Northeast. And it used to be very cold. But
What'd you do up there?
Northeast,
Mm-hmm.
my father was I was there as a kid. And my father was a nuclear physicist
Mm-hmm.
and worked at the metallurgy plant, so.
I know exactly where that is.
Electric materials? But we always had a cottage along Lake Erie. My brother since has made the cottage into a home.
What happened? You wrong?
Text,
Oh, my God.
yeah.
Just waiting on one more person here for a
Okay.
quorum, so. We'll go ahead and give it another minute or two. I just texted John, see if he can hop on. We had 11 people commit, so we'll see, I know one had
Yeah,
done.
we're all committed.
Yeah. Oh, there we go, look at that.
Mind if I pass my business?
No, go ahead, come on up. So now John's in the meeting, so now we have forms, so we can go and get started.
Okay. It is now 7:01, and thank you. I'm calling this meeting to order. So let's, those of us that are here, let's stand and say the pledge of allegiance.
Yeah.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Patrick, let's have roll call.
Sure thing. Aleppo, Avalon, Bell Acres, Bellevue, Van Aven,
Here.
Edgeworth,
Here.
Emsworth, Glen Osborne,
Here.
Hayesville,
Here.
Glenfield,
Here.
Killbuck, Leetsdale,
Present.
Sewickley.
Here.
That's a quorum.
Okay, great. So now we do have a guest in the house. So Andrew, would you like to stand up and introduce yourself? And
Oh, sure thing. Is there a good place for the mic?
Right in the middle is fine. The camera will pick you up
Sorry, where's the camera?
right here. That white thing.
Oh, okay. Do I come closer?
You could, whatever you want. I mean, it'll see you.
yeah,
I just want to make sure everybody can hear. Yeah, so I just wanted to swing by and introduce myself. I'm Andrew Novak. I work for our state representative Valerie Gatos. I just recently started at her district office as a legislative aide. So I'm here just to introduce myself and hear your concerns on her behalf. And any wish list items that you might have for your boroughs and townships, municipalities. And just, I'll take note of it and everything and bring it back. And the representative asked that I relay her disappointment and, my personal disappointment with the Keystone grant situation. It's kind of confusing because it was last year's budget. There's no reason it should be withheld. But we are aware of the situation and just confused that it was slated for, last year's budget and stuff. So we're aware and also very disappointed with what's going on with that. On a personal note, I went to Quaker Valley as well. So I'm from the area, grew up here. I'm sure like a lot of people, you grow up, you maybe move away for a couple of years and then somehow you end up back here. And then also just a couple events going on within the district. The representative is hosting an open mic kind of night. It's like a town hall, but for the constituents to come in, voice their concerns, get in touch with our, our state government. So there will be a event at the West Allegheny Public Library, July 26th. There will be one at the Sewickley YMCA, August 1st, and one at the Moon Public Library, August 10th. All events start at 6:30, 6 to 8. Doors open at 6. There's registration on the website, but walk-ins are always welcome, of course. I also left information on landslide legislation going on right now, some informational flyer on that. I will, once I get into the office tomorrow, I'll send Mr. Connors a PDF file of both to share with the COG. And yeah, so it was very nice to meet everybody tonight.
No, thank you very much for coming out. And like Andrew said, I'll go ahead and forward all the information digitally to the group, and anyone that's here in person, feel free to take those, pamphlets as well. Just to sort of, discuss a little further on the Keystone Communities grant that Andrew highlighted there. It's $100,000 that'll be allocated through that program for the purchase of automated license plate reader cameras for our police departments. Probably going to be able to get about 4 intersections covered with those cameras and the affiliated software, but the paperwork submitted on our end, and now it's more of a waiting game. As you noted, the DCD highlighted that the money is sort of on lockdown for whatever reason through the budget impasse. So I don't know if that's a tool that's being used.
That budget.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So it could be a waiting game here, but that's what we were told, and we'll just stay in a holding pattern until we get further notice, but we'll see.
Hurry up and wait.
Yep, hurry up and wait.
So Andrew, what's the progress on the landslide legislation? I'm familiar with it. I just wondered.
Right now, from my understanding, was, it was, I believe it was just getting it off the ground, and funding, was part of it. I can't speak in detail about where it is right now. I will include that in my note with Mr. Connors, our email tomorrow.
Right.
I just don't want to give you a bubbly answer.
Right.
That's
Didn't
isn't
want to-
accurate.
You understand?
I want to be correct.
Very good. Anybody on Zoom have a question or comment for Andrew? All right, perfect. Well, thank you again for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll let you get out of here unless you want to hang around, whatever you want to do.
Brother got pepper spray inside, so actually.
That is
I actually have to go get milk.
very good. Well, good luck with that, and we'll see you around. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we have another guest who's I almost would say our traditional guest at these meetings, and I appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Is there anything that you would like? Okay. We'll move on to approval of the June 21st, 2023 meeting minutes. I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, Miss Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Second,
Second.
Jeff second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. Motion passed. Next is approval of the June financial reports, the unpaid bill list, and the payroll summary.
Yeah, I mean, it's business as usual on that front. Everything, is the usual. Bills payable, payroll is the same. We will get into the details of forming a budget committee later on in the meeting, but business as usual for the month of June.
Good. I'll take first of all, I'll take a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion, Amy.
Thank you, Amy, again. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Next is the president's report. And this is something after almost 2 years of having the OWL with a hybrid meeting. I'm wondering the several points that I'm going to make on this. A lot of times with a hybrid meeting, this is a flying platform here, but it seems to me that the people who attend in person end up being just because you're around. The ones that we look to make a motion, to second a motion, or because it is in person. But I also find it difficult as someone conducting the meeting to know with the Zoom online when we're doing motions and acceptance or discussions, it's difficult to know who is online, number one, and Patrick's great at monitoring that, but so I'm wondering two things. One, if this board would be interested in either going all online or continue with the hybrid. Number two, question and open for discussion. We moved from municipality to municipality. And I think it's wonderful to visit other municipalities, truthfully. But we've had some difficulty with, you know, Patrick Cart's thing. Sometimes the internet doesn't work. So and again, this is open for discussion. Maybe instead of moving from place to place and carting things, have one single place that we do have our meetings. Not this year. This would be for the 2024 year. And one place that Patrick and I have tentatively discussed would be the Swickley Public Library. But on any of these points, I'm going to leave it up to the board to discuss what your feelings are about the meetings.
Yeah, that's so Amy from Hayesville. I will say I certainly understand having these type of meetings can
Basically just said,
Oh.
her levels are not concerning.
be very difficult.
You wouldn't even see any clinical issues with it. It's not iron related because her MCV value is normal, and that would drop if it was an iron issue. So he says that we don't need to make any major changes to her diet. It's low.
I think
Okay,
Emily,
sorry.
maybe.
Yeah,
who's
that
that?
was, yeah, we got it. I think that was Nate's microphone picking up some background noise.
Oh. To prove the point that these meetings can be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally, I mean, in person is very nice. And it is, I'm sure, hard. It's so much harder to, you know, get participation, et cetera, et cetera. But with that said, I mean, for me, being able to attend remotely makes it available for me to be able to participate. Whereas I think we'd miss a lot more meetings than we've been pretty able to be at almost every one because of the remote option. And we wouldn't be able to pull that off if we didn't have that option. I'd say I don't see any necessary reason for going completely remote, though. I mean, I think still being able to meet in person has a lot of value too, and it is when it works for people's schedule. But I also think the one location makes sense, and I think that would actually make it easier to be able to attend in person on times if you knew it was always at the same place and could have that as a steady location.
Not turn your shit back on.
Okay, anybody else?
Steady, well,
Because I don't have a connection.
Okay. You know, I prefer in person, but that's me.
I prefer in person too. Location doesn't matter. I need to go somewhere within 10 or 15 minutes of where I live. I mean, I'm also at the far reaches of Wayne Township, so. But that doesn't bother me. That said, I'm alternate and, but yeah, I prefer in person, but I understand certain things people have to zoom in. That's fine too, but. And I have no opinion on the location.
I think one of our difficulties with location was more or less, sometimes we've been locked out of.
I'm sure it's difficult, but especially with Patrick about
Yeah.
location, different internet situations and
Yeah.
key codes and. So, yeah, I could empathize.
Yeah, I think, we're sort of hearing consensus that the status quo with the hybrid is the most effective at getting people to participate.
I do think so.
And it seems like maybe having one location for next year might be also something that might be the most conducive to regular participation and helping us as far as soliciting the meeting. The one place that comes to mind, and I want to hear everyone's opinions on this, the idea of having us move around is so everyone gets to see your buildings, obviously, and obviously there's convenience factors. Sometimes it's 5 minutes away from me, sometimes it's 25. This was something that was to try to spread it out evenly. But the one location that is right across the street that comes to mind is the Swickley Public Library. We've had a handful of meetings there. They have a very modern space that's meant for community gatherings, nice smart board. They have the technology that we don't have to worry about the internet connection necessarily fading in and out. So, you know, if they're willing to host us once a month, every month, 12 months a year, that's where I would like that. But I haven't had that discussion with me yet to see if we're able to do that. But if there's any other locations that the group thinks would be good to have our 2024 meetings every month, please let me know. And I can try to set them up.
We can bring this up later too.
So for the library, is the room you're speaking of the upstairs room?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I know in the summertime that could be problematic because they actually close off the upstairs around noon because of no air conditioning. So I don't know if that would impact that decision or not, but just something to think about when you discuss with them.
Yeah, and it's a hot commodity to get that space too. So I'm not sure if it's
It
feasible.
still could host if you wanted, and the internet works.
Okay, that's another location to think. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to the library, work with Jen to see if both spaces are willing, and maybe next month we bring this back and formalize a plan for next year.
It could be maybe in the winter, the Swiftly Public Library, and the summer needs to. Do you
Yeah.
have many meetings in your rooms that,
Not the third Wednesday.
okay. Okay.
Any other thoughts from people on Zoom?
Hi, this is Bridget from Swickley. I'm pretty sure that the construction that's going on at the library now is updating the air conditioning system. So that shouldn't be a problem in the future.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
But it is.
This is
something
Joel
that-
with Glenfield. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but the
Yeah.
hybrid does make it really nice, especially like today we had Paul was going to go to the meeting and then had to sub out for me, and I'm literally on the road, so it's nice to be able to still join the meeting without having to change a bunch of plans and stuff. But it's nice to have the option to meet in person, because I think that builds relationships a little bit better, and it's nice to see people face to face than through Zoom. But the hybrid makes it a lot easier for a lot of participation from our end.
Thank you. Anybody else online that would like to volunteer their feelings and if you wish to feel one way or another, please email, you can email me or you could email Patrick. So that, and if you have any idea of another space we could use, please let us know. And if you're up for one space, it seems like it's okay, but if it's something you don't feel like you're comfortable with, let us know. Okay, I don't know,
The next is the audit.
is the audit? Okay, we'll move on to. Okay, Mr. Who is it?
So Eric Span's going to be on the call here to just briefly go over the 2022 audit and some of the financial reports. So Eric, if you're on the call, feel free to take it away. I think you should be able to share your screen too if you're interested in having a presentation. Case 17. Let's see, he is muted. Looks like you're muted, Eric. There we go.
Hello, okay. Hi, everyone, this is Eric Span with Case Sabatini. We have the financial statements complete for 2022, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at them in advance of the meeting. There's some things that fluctuated a little bit since the previous year. A lot of things are similar to course, but as far as the accounting goes, there weren't any new significant accounting pronouncements that impacted the COG whatsoever. There are some items in the future dealing with compensated absences and such like that, I don't see them ever being material. And the COG doesn't have any material leases. There was a lease standard that came out. That doesn't impact the COG because of the way your lease agreement currently is structured, just with the month to month. So with that said, the financial statements look similar, no changes in presentation to what you're used to seeing. We have our two funds, the general fund that shows all of your major operating activities, with the exception of your agency fund, which is the CDBG activity. So on the statements, you'll notice, as always, by definition with an agency fund, the CDBG money is an in and an out. So there's never any net income, so to speak, to the COG for that in administering those grants. So we had a little slightly less CDBG activity in 2022 than 2021, but you'll see in Patrick's MD&A, management discussion and analysis section, that we have identified the many future initiatives in here, many of which dealing with the gaming grants that were secured during 2022 and will be 2023 affairs. As far as the fund position or the relative financial stability of the COG, fund position increased by about $40,000. And that is primarily due to the increase in dues to help cover cost increases to the COG. And then also the COG received about $38,000 of RAD in 2022. And if you remember from 2021, RAD was virtually non-existent. So that was the primary increase in the fund position of the COG. And you'll notice, if you look at the balance sheet compared to previous years, as a result of the recycling program, we have the $20,000 $20,000 deposit for the recycling program in there. And that's listed, shown in liabilities. And Patrick's scrolling through here, and you can see here on this screen that Patrick's showing you, that's basically the year-over-year comparison of the COG's income statement per se. So you, in the capital grants and contributions line, you see that large decrease. That's the CDBG activity primarily, but you'll see the increase in the membership dues. You'll see the 38,000 of RAD there. And then in the charges for services category, what all is in there?
So the decrease from year over year there is going to be attributed to Emsworth Borough utilized the zoning enforcement program and the code enforcement program through the COG. And about midway through the year, they withdrew that program to bring it in-house. So that's basically directly related to that.
Right.
Leet Township has since picked up the zoning program in 2023. So you should see a little more towards that than you did in 2022, but that's why there's a decrease there.
Yep, and I'll look in my notes to see if there's anything else in there that, yeah. That's the primary driver of that fluctuation. So as far as, yeah, that chart there, you'll see the RAD component of revenues for the COG, which in 2021 was non-existent. So, and Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong. I know from our discussions, your 2023's RAD, we're thinking is going to be equal or probably higher.
Yeah, so it's always a year behind. So we collected for 2022 RAD in the first quarter of this year. It was on par with last year's collections. And I think that can be attributed to, and help me out if I'm misguided here, but inflation the cost of everything goes up, you're gonna pay a little more in your sales tax as well. And that RAD distribution is strictly based on sales tax, the extra percent you pay in Allegheny County. So in addition to spending going up, I think, the inflation tipped that balance where the RAD collections were a little higher. And I would expect that to continue for at least another year. I mean, who knows? But that's where we're gonna track for our budget. And as Eric highlighted, we have a little analysis of where we thought the QVCOG is going to be going this year and where we are going this year. The police chiefs committee obviously is a huge component that wasn't there 2 years ago. Sustainable programming, our section 904 recycling performance grant collections, and something we'll be talking about at the end of the meeting here, our affiliate membership drive will also be, I think, a pretty big part of what we do moving forward. Eric, any final thoughts on the audit? Any final takeaways?
No, we at K17 definitely appreciate the opportunity throughout the audit. Very much enjoy working with you, Patrick, and it's always it's a smooth process, and very much enjoy it. So I don't know if anyone in the attendance has any questions on the statements. The numbers are kind of the key point, the disclosures. There's a lot of wording that has to be there, but it's accounting gibberish, so to speak, if I want to talk in technical terms.
Okay, anybody have any questions or discussion? Nobody online?
Anybody on Zoom? Any comments, thoughts, questions?
Not
Nope.
from me.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate all the work you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
Thank you very much for having me and for the continued opportunity.
All right, and just to let everyone know, the last step in this process is we send a copy of the final report to Allegheny County. This is a requirement through our CDBG participation. So we'll go ahead and get a copy to them, and we'll do the same thing again next year.
Right.
Oh, I did, Patrick, I did have one comment that I wanted to bring up to the member municipalities. So as the COG continues to assist the member municipalities in securing various grants, whether they would be through the gaming grants, CITF, any of those types of grants, a lot of times with particularly the gaming and the CITF, in the actual approved grant budget, a lot of times if it exceeds a certain dollar threshold, the county will require an audit of the grant, and that's a straightforward process. I do a lot of them, and typically the county carves out the audit fee of the grant money, where it's not a local contribution. But I wanted to let all the municipalities know that if you do get a grant secured, when you're looking at that final approved grant budget and it's calling for an audit, that we can absolutely do that for you.
And thank you for highlighting that. So we have 4 gaming grants that we've been awarded over the last 18 months or so. 2 have been in Lee Township, one's in Swickley Heights, and one's in Ben Avon Borough. So the money for that hasn't moved yet. We're in the process, I think, soon with Ben Avon to get the project underway and the money moving. But like Eric said, when the projects are done, those will all require an audit because they're all over $100,000. And I could certainly relay the contact information for K17 and Eric if those municipalities are interested. It's something in the agreement how we wrote it up. The municipalities can do the audit, or we could certainly do
You
it too.
guys
So
can use that.
go ahead, Roberta.
I'm sorry, I was talking to Mark. I didn't realize I took myself off
Oh, no worries. Okay, but yeah, we'll tackle those, for those 4 projects, and thank you for highlighting that, Eric.
No
Yes.
problem. And the timing for that is, once the grant is closed out, you know, you'll get the formal communication from the county that, you know, all the project's finalized or all the county money is spent. If, let's say there's a local component and you max out the award from the county, once the county's money is final, then at any point after that, I could do the statements for the grant. And it's primarily just for an outside party to make sure that the grant funds were used in the manner that they were awarded. So that's all I have for that.
Perfect. Thank you again for hopping on the call, and
Yes, thank you.
we will be in touch.
Thank you so much. Hopefully there's a Powerball winner in the crowd. I'm hoping to be there. But
That'd be nice.
I enjoy working with Patrick so much that even if I do win it, I will still do the COG statements gladly. It's a promise.
We'll take you up on that.
All right.
All right, we'll see you, Eric. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
So let's go backwards again.
To the executive.
Yeah. So first we'll tackle the CDBG status report. So finally, after a full calendar year, we got our CD 48 public improvements contract from the county. We immediately applied for a 12-month extension. So basically this cycle, which is already over, but we're back involved in it, and 49 will be coinciding together. So we'll have 8 projects instead of the usual 4. No big deal. We'll take care of it. We have all these projects are going to be put out to bid. The first advertisements the 20th of tomorrow, actually, of July, and you can see here in the report the different timelines for different projects. But one project's in Swickley, one's in Bell Acres, one's in Leet Township, and one's in Leetsdale. So excited to get those underway, and pretty confident as long as the weather cooperates, we'll have all 4 of these wrapped up by the end of this year. And if they sprinkle over in the spring, no worries, we have that full year extension.
Hey, Patrick, on that one with Beach Street, are they gonna do all of Beach Street? Because part of that's in Leetsdale.
Yeah, so that's not going to be the entirety, but this is just a continuation. This is like for Lee Township, it's been 5 or 6 years of incremental sidewalk rehabilitation. This one's a pretty small portion.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so for those maybe residents that have been asking you guys about these projects, they're going to be underway hopefully before the end of this year. So good news on that front. For the executive director's report, another chunk of money is going to be sent out to you guys here. So every year we apply on behalf of 14 out of our 15 member communities for the Act 101 Section 904 recycling grant. This year we are awarded $26,133.32. It's a 10.3% increase. This basically gets divvied up based on each municipality's residential recycling rates. And there's a bonus award that's calculated on commercial and residential participation when compared to the rest of the state. So those awards will be, I finalized the calculations in the last few days. We haven't gotten the deposit from DEP quite yet, but once it hits our accounts, I can bring this to the board and we can approve the checks for everybody who want to get paid. You know, they range. Smaller towns, obviously, it's smaller amounts because they generate less recycling. Bigger yard, the more money you get. But this is something we do on behalf of a lot of our towns, and excited to see that rate increase pretty substantially again. And then the commercial side of that, we roll it over into our joint recycling fund. This has helped subsidize the glass recycling program, and we built up a nice little cushion there for future projects, whatever they might be in the coming years. So
how's the glass recycling program going?
So last month we crossed the 100-ton threshold, where we've collected over 100 tons of glass in the year. We've had the program between the 2 sites. I haven't noticed the rates go down at all. We're still tracking the same amount of pickups. So residents, again, they have the option now to recycle in their cans with waste management, the glass again. But it looks like, you know, a lot of people are still dropping it off. So no change that I've seen yet. Joint franchise fee committee last month, the board agreed to reconvene that group. On July 6th, I met with Cohen Law, and we're going to be forming a survey to send out to all of our communities to gauge when the last time they had a franchise fee agreement for Verizon and Comcast was, and we'll figure out if there's an opportunity to work together involved to get the best rates and renegotiate those agreements. Few communities are coming up, and that's where that all started. And just highlighted a few updates with the Police Chiefs Committee. It's been great to work with that group. They get together once every other month. The topic of the day now is the automated license plate reader cameras that we alluded to. But no update in that front with the money being released quite yet. Once it is, you guys will be the first to know. But that's all I have to report.
Okay, going back down on our agenda. We do, is John Sebastian?
I don't think he was able to make it today.
Okay. First of all, before we move on, in your packet, there was a proclamation for, we hope to have it honoring John Sebastian for his work as president of the Quaker Valley COG. I would say without John Sebastian's expertise, his commitment to the COG, the time he put into the COG, and also to serving on Kilbuck Council, or is it you, was he a commissioner?
Supervisor.
Certainly, as a public servant, which we all, most all are, we know at times we do what we do and don't get recognized, and it's okay for what we are doing. But we felt that it was as a COG that we should recognize John Sebastian for what he did, not only as a public servant, but as president of this COG. He really took the COG. My very first meeting was firing of the COG manager. And the COG was at a place where, in my opinion, it maybe wouldn't go forward.
I agree.
There were turbulent times there where the COG floundered as to what we do, what our service is to our communities, and also getting communities to participate in the COG. It was very, very difficult during that time to get quorum to vote. But I will say now that we've not missed a quorum to vote. So that's what this proclamation is in your packet. It's to honor the work that John Sebastian did as the COG president during times where the COG was focused in trying to bring it into the new century, essentially. And he did a wonderful job. His commitment to public service and his commitment to the idea that as communities, we can help one another than as an individual. And what happens in one community affects all of us. So I don't think I need to make a motion on this one.
We can if you want. I plan to sign it and send it over to him digitally.
I would like to make a
I'll make a
motion.
motion.
Thank you.
We make a proclamation of John Balaw's recognition of service.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Great. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be with us on Zoom tonight, but
We'll get it.
this
to him.
will be given to him.
When is he leaving?
I think he's already there. Yeah, he's moved out.
Where did he go to?
So he's at a cabin in Vermont for quite some time, and he's gonna move in there full time now. He made the announcement the last meeting, and you know, just to highlight, you know, everything Barbara said, you know, he was, the president when I was hired in this capacity 2 years ago. And it's not too often you get to work with a rocket scientist, and that's exactly what he is. And,
Yeah.
the fact that he, you know, spent some time as a supervisor and worked with QVCOG in the capacity he did for so many years. I mean, he was on this board for 13 years, you know, since
Yeah.
2010. I had no idea until I was mining through the minutes, and there he was in February 2010.
Right after,
So, you know, he was a great to work with, and whenever I was learning this role, and he'll be missed in the group, and hopefully he's gonna enjoy whatever he does next in his life.
I wish you the best. Thank you. Thank everybody. Moving on. We are getting ready. It's early but we are looking to authorize the QVCOG to form a budget committee. I mean, I know, Patrick, you're by default on the budget committee, and so is John, our treasurer. So if anybody else would like to join the budget committee, first of all, I need a motion authorizing the formation of the budget committee. I'll take it.
I can do it, Barbara. This is Roberta in Avalon. I would like to make a motion to form a budget committee for the Quaker Valley COG.
Thank you. Is there a second?
second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 If you're interested in being on the budget committee, please let Patrick know.
Yeah, we've done this the last few years where we'll have a Zoom before we have the draft budget presented to the board. And then we'll have another Zoom following that meeting up before we approve the final budget. So probably about 2:30 to 45-minute budget meetings on Zoom will be able to commit what we need for it. And there's not a whole lot of change year to year with our budget, so it's a pretty easy lift for the volunteers and for myself. We just try to project what little subtle changes might be in our mission and journey. So if anyone is interested, please send me an email. We'll get together before our next meeting in August, and we'll take it home from there.
Thank you. Okay. This is something that was created under John Sebastian when they made the rules and regulations for the COG. It's the creation of associate member. And really, an associate member may participate in COG activities. They can come to meetings, they get the minutes, but as an associate member, number one, they don't pay the fee. And I'm looking here. They can hold office and they can participate and they can vote in decisions. We have, this is the first time I think we've had an associate members saying that they're interested in joining COG, which I think, Patrick, is great. It says a lot of what you've been doing with the COG. They're the Swickley Water Authority and is interested in becoming an associate member as an affiliate member. So does anybody, I'll take, I think we'll have to have a motion to accept the Swickley Water Authority as an affiliate member. Does anybody?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Okay.
I am so in favor of this. It's nice to have a water authority as a member. They affect quite a few communities in our area. And Patrick, you'll let them know that they're accepted as.
Yep. I'll reach out to Mr. Brooks tomorrow, and this is something I think we're gonna see a few more applications before the end of the year. Ohio Township's probably gonna be next for their police department, so I think this is gonna be a really nice opportunity for us to grow, have a few more voices in the board during meetings, and you know, we already work with these organizations that are pretty high capacity. It's just formalizing it so when we do apply for grants, we can say, yes, they are associate members of our organization, and
make it
and they could pay us a couple $100. So doesn't hurt either. So, yeah, I'll let Mr. Brooks know tomorrow and they'll
Please do.
be first, but I don't think they'll be last. I think there'll be a few more coming down.
Great, great. I would like to see it. It gives more, I think the variety of people that join from different organizations is important. Okay, next is old business. Or do we, I wanted to ask you if there was anything on the Route 65. Have we heard?
Yeah, so they were ready to present this at this meeting, but we had so many other facets going on, and I wanted to really kind of push them off till August if possible. So we're gonna have a little presentation put together. They have that pamphlet 99% done. So you'll have that, the flyer that we talked about and approved a few months back in your packets next month, a little presentation, Michael Baker and myself, and then we can really start to hand this off to the individual councils and boards in our 15 towns to get a reassurance that, yes, this is an idea and an opportunity that we all want to work together towards in some way, shape, or form. So.
Right, we would ask, I think, not right away, but for a commitment, not a monetary commitment, but a commitment to work together.
Yes. Yeah, no, we're not asking for dollars. We're really just making sure that they want us as a vessel through them to work on this.
Right. Right, no sense working on it if we're not all on board. And I think it's something that communities need to know about too.
And to sort of aside, going back to the police chiefs committee and how this is all sort of connected. So we met with the head of the West Hills Task Force, which controls a lot of money through PennDOT for a lot of the DUI task force and safe driving task force that you'll see in the region here. And because our board showed interest for our police chiefs to work together for Route 65 safety awareness, we've got about $21,000 that we spend over the next 18 months to have them work together, help cover overtime shifts or extra shifts. So you'll probably be seeing more group efforts on the boulevard. It's not going to change the world, but it's a small amount to start. And I think those will
start better than nothing.
Exactly. So it's all connected, and it's not just roads and bridges, it's enforcement too. And I think we'll have a lot of discussions on that front.
So Patrick, can you have a date of the emergency? I know there is the training commission that is headed by David Orbison in Glenfield.
Yeah, so the meeting last night was postponed. They weren't aware that Glen Osborne had a meeting that night, I guess. So I let them know, and they said it was really kind of fruitless to have that meeting without you guys on board.
Moving it.
So we're gonna have that on August 9th, and to let everyone know, this is sort of an ad hoc committee that was brought together by Mayor Orbison of Glenfield and Glen Osborne, Hayesville, Swickley. They all get together to discuss the railroad crossing, to discuss emergency awareness and opportunities. So this is something that'll be pushed back to August 9th, and the 3 EMCs, the emergency management coordinators for those towns, will be invited to this meeting. So the COG's not the facilitator, but we're just there and any way we can help. And I think it's important for us to stay involved and just pitch in however we can.
Thank you. I do think that's a very important committee. Okay. We can move on to concerns by delegate. My favorite part. You want to do a roll call?
Sure. So anything that you wanted to bring to the group, Roberta and Avalon? Guess not. Dan, anything in Bellevue?
Nothing of let's say council concern. We do have a couple events going on in the borough. One being an event that I help coordinate. It is our yearly Bellevue Rhythm and Brews Beer and Music Festival. So if anyone in the area is interested, we have a discount day going on today for tickets, 20% off. But yeah, we hope to bring about 1,000 people into the community this time around, show off our businesses, show off all the great food and everything we have to offer in our little 1 square mile community. Other than that, a couple weeks ago, I was part of a conversation with the ACED. Cindy Bond was there, a couple other business leaders were there. And it was just a really good, conversation with them about what they can do for little communities like ours. Where there's opportunities, low hanging fruit, and all that good buzzwords. So we're going to keep working with them and see if there's anything else that they can help out. At least Bellevue, and if there's anything maybe in over in your areas or whatnot. So if I hear anything or we get anything from them, I would be more than happy to share that with the group.
Perfect. And Dan, if you want, I'd be happy to forward that information out with your community day out
Okay.
to our group. If you have a link or a URL, it sounds like a really cool event, and I'd be interested in attending, assuming it works out with schedule.
Sounds good. Thank you. I'll send it over.
Tavia, anything in Ben Avon?
Yes, we are interested in a emergency notification system, and the price, I don't know if anyone in any of the other communities have that, but the pricing is a little high, the numbers that we've gotten from a few companies. And so I was just going to present the possibility of maybe the COG negotiating a group rate for that.
Well, this is Lee still, we just enacted Rave Alert, and it was like a little less than $2,000, I think. I can check and make sure, but so far we've used it a few times. It does have its quirks because you have to have everybody's cell phone. Yeah, because most people don't have a home phone. And you have to get the information to have that to work.
You said it was called Rave?
Rave Alert, yeah.
So how did you
Right.
get information?
What do you mean?
How did you get the information about everybody's cell phone?
Well, we are still trying to acquire more, but every time we have something in the community, we have a sign up.
Okay,
So, but I don't know how much it's actually going to yet. So.
Yeah, if you can forward that information to me, maybe I can reach out to the organization and maybe have a little sales pitch for the group to see if other communities are interested in maybe partnering to get a group price. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something we would definitely support. It was on the kind of, at least my agenda for the meeting that we had to reschedule regarding the emergency coordinators. I mean, especially for like rail emergencies, I think that has to be part of our long-term solution, a way to be able to immediately reach all those residents and communicate when there's issues. So I think that would be especially beneficial for those type of situations. So we would be interested as well.
I know one else would be.
Just call, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do.
She'll get you that information.
Perfect. All right. I don't know if John's still on the call, but if he is there anything in Edgeworth, John? I don't think he's still on the call. Okay, Barbara, what else? What?
Well, Glenn Osborne, as I've said before, is redoing our zoning law. And because of the COG meeting last week, we're looking at zoning and for charging stations for electric vehicles to make sure they're safe. And one thing was brought up that there's so many home charging stations, and that Cochrane, our fire department, wants to know who has them. Because if there should be a fire, dealing with the fire due to a home charger, they would need different types of equipment than they regularly would. So we are working on such a zoning legislation. It needs to go into the code also. It's also, the code as to it needs to be a separate box, what type of wiring you use and that type of thing. So that was very beneficial. And the last month's meeting on Purple Air people were excited about it, and 3/4 of the council now are logged into Purple Air.
Very
And
good.
watch it, especially with the smoke that comes in from Canada. Another thing for recycling, and I know we are in COG looking to renegotiate the Verizon and Comcast agreements. Evidently in the New York Times, and it was an op-ed also in the Tribune, that there are lead lines that carry the cable information. And those lead lines do root underneath them.
Hmm.
So a study, I guess there was studies done and found that out. So maybe we should ask Dan about that. I've never even thought of that nor heard of it before.
Yeah, I could see what Cohen has to say about that. Any other topic?
That's it.
Perfect. All right, Joel, anything?
Patrick,
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
sorry, Patrick, I'm sorry, it's Roberta in Avalon.
Yeah,
I was having technical difficulties, so I do want to take a turn
yeah. Go ahead.
eventually. So I can wait
Mhm.
till the end if you'd like.
You're up, good.
Okay, I had actually a couple questions. I was reading in our notes, our agenda that you had sent, and perhaps I missed it in the very beginning of the meeting, that the communities were being refunded a part of the $26,000. Was it from? And it seemed to me that not every community was getting a piece of that. It said participating communities. Is every person in the COG getting a part of that, or were there some that weren't
The only,
participating?
yeah, 14 out of the 15 participate. The only one that applies for their money on their own is Edgeworth. So everyone other than Edgeworth gets a piece of the 26,000.
Okay. And I had a couple other questions. First off, we were talking about the affiliate members earlier. It seems like a really good idea to draw them in and perhaps campaign for more of them. There's strength in numbers. What are we asking? What are you sending out to say, would you like to join us? Here's the highlights of why, I guess.
Yeah. So the Swiftly Water Authority was really easy for us to go after because they were just awarded $185,000 through a grant that we worked for them on. And I thought maybe for future grant opportunities, it would make a lot of sense in the application to say that they are an official member in some capacity of our organization. So, that and any future applicants like the Edgeworth Water Authority in the past has applied through the COG. I think they're a really easy target for us to go after too. And Ohio Township Police Department, I think we'll see next month that they're going to have their application in too. Just because while they're not the Ohio Township Borough, or sorry, the municipality is not in the COG, the police department does work for 4 of our towns. So, they have a pretty big voice in our police chiefs discussions. And I think it's time for us to formally sort of bring them into the fold in some way. But what I could do is, obviously over the next few months work, maybe 1 or 2 page flyer or website edition that explains the benefits of being an affiliate member and how, municipal entities, whether it's fire department, police department, can do that. I don't think we want to necessarily double dip on police departments that are already members, but those that maybe work in some capacity with our other police chiefs, I think would be great. And the authorities, obviously, I think are a really sensible, path to go down too. So I could definitely build something. And if you had somebody in mind to bring in the fold, I definitely would love to talk to them.
Yeah, actually I did, but this is kind of shooting for the stars in the future. Wouldn't it be nice to have like the railroads on board? Just saying.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
And then
But yes.
I would love to have, kind of the benefits. I was giving my update report at our council meeting last night, and I told them about this, but I wanted to get some more information in case in the future we ask, Westview Water or whomever. And I really think down the line, I don't know if any of us will see it, that we're going to have some regionalization of communities, not just police officers and departments and fire departments. There's so much overlap in all of our services and facilities and et cetera. And anyways, I'll get off that soapbox, but the COG is a great start and shows that we can work together, and adding these affiliate members might be, strengthen the case sometime in the future, far future. And I had one more question. Daniel Conlon, our Bellevue, sorry, Dan, Avalon solicitor, was talking about was it a class action suit against Waste Management that involved the COG and all of our members. And he said you might have some more details on it.
Yeah. So this is a statewide, I could even pull it up for the group to see. So the state attorney general recently appointed too, they are really looking to go after monopolies in the form of refuse collectors, right? And they're claiming that there's not a lot of competition in that environment, which I would agree with. There tends to be the same one or two companies popping up in each one of these bids. But what they're doing is going statewide, and they're asking every single municipality to put forward the last 3 cycles of bids for refuse collection and recycling collection. It's a big lift and a big ask. Luckily, we had everything digitally, and I was able to get all of our towns that participate in the garbage contract through us all the information they need. So they have a link to Dropbox that has the last 3 cycles of every bid advertisement, every bid received. That's all taken care of. What the end goal is, I'm not really sure. But we complied with what we were supposed to give to our members. So hopefully that suffices the request. But let me go ahead and pull it up here so you guys see. It is refuse. And this was just sent to everyone about a week ago, so it's pretty new. State request. And here we are. So let me know if you guys can see that. So this was sent to Bellevue, but like every town got the same thing. It's just instead of to Bellevue, it's to Avalon or whoever. So it's a very generic letter just saying, hey, we want 1, 2, 3, and 4, all these different document levels of documentation from the bidding process. And I said, we gave that a, it's in a Dropbox link. It's over 2,000 pages of stuff. So I do think it's a questionable approach to ask every one of the municipalities in the state to do this. I think we know what the problem is. There's only a few bidders out there because there's only so many with the capacity to do it. So I'll be curious what the end goal is, but as far as what you guys needed to do, we gave you the tools to do it.
Right.
Yes, Leanne was our assistant manager, was very appreciative of all the stuff you did, all the work you did on that. So thank you for answering all that. And just a couple of things going on in Avalon. We're having some goat yoga this Thursday at Avalon Park, and we are having capricious goats do some yard work for us down there. This is near where our fire department and pool are, and they've been there at least 2 weeks cleaning up some stuff for us, and they'll be participating in a yoga there. And our grants came through. All the work is finished down there. We have a brand new playground right outside of the pool. We're getting more cameras. We have a brand new basketball court that's really fabulous. We had a tournament there the last couple days. So if anyone wants to go play on a new court, please come down. And I think that's it.
Very good. A lot going on.
Yeah.
Joel, you're up in Glenfield. Any news?
I don't really have any news, but I know we would be interested in that emergency alert system. We had, I don't know if it would go this far or not, but a few weeks ago or a month or so ago, we had somebody roaming our neighborhood trying to get into some houses and stuff, and had our own emergency alert system go around. So I think we would be very interested in something like that, and I don't know if that would cover something like that or not, but I know that our council will be on board for it.
Yeah, it will cover anything that you want that is borough specific. You have to have a little bit higher level of service to do that. And I believe it can even get street specific.
Yeah, it sounds like a worthwhile, I'll reach out to this company and see if they can come to maybe our August or September meeting.
That would be a good idea.
Seems like something everyone's interested in, or at least quite a few of you guys are interested in, so. I try to steer away from the sales pitches, but this one, it sounds like it might be worthwhile.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, anything in lead?
I honestly do not have anything to report.
All right, Jeff, anything still, nothing? And Bridget, what's new in Swiftly?
Hi, I'm happy to be at my first meeting. Thanks for having me. I'm actually not in town right now, but Night Mart has happened a couple times and that's been gone off without a hitch. This Sunday, we have a Sunday DAE fun run going on that finishes at the confectionery with a huge foam fest with lots of bubbles and stuff. So if anybody's interested in that. We've also installed new parking meters in town. That was a huge undertaking and is now being implemented and going smoothly. So far, so good. And the only other thing I would mention is we've been hard at work. Our committee, I serve on this committee for Light Up Night. Just working hard on that. Have a lot of stuff wrapped up for it already, which is great. And we're just looking for sponsors. So if anybody's interested in sponsoring or participating in any way, we know that this is a night that really focuses on all of our communities. We have people from all over come for Light Up Night. And if anybody's interested in helping in a financial way, we're here to take your money. So thanks so much for having me.
Oh, no, thank you for attending. I didn't realize this was your first meeting. I thought someone else in time you might have attended, but my apologies for not introducing you to the board ahead of time, but thank you for hopping on the call and we look forward to working with you whenever you're on the calls. Okay, Nate, anything in Swiftly Heights?
Nothing for me, Patrick. Thanks.
Perfect. All righty. I think that's everyone. If anyone hasn't spoken or would like to bring something up, this is the time to do it.
Well, you skipped over me, but
Oh, Amy, sorry.
luckily I don't have anything to say, so.
No, that's my fault. I got all tangled up when we were talking about the railroad discussions. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No, all good. I don't have
Sorry.
anything. No, hey, that's the Zoom meetings, right? There you go again. Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And seconded, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Hi,
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in August.
thank
Have
you.
a great night. Thank you.